Well, sports fans, let's cut this news for not once, not twice, but the third time. And if I don't get it right this time, I'm not doing the news at all for this Friday because I got things to do. This is W&L night. I got to get this stuff done out of the way. A 68-year-old villager was released from jail on Tuesday after 6 months behind bars following an altercation with his wife. Carrie Azarati was arrested July 21 at 734 Hernandez Drive in Villa de la Mesa on Sumter County warrant charging him with violating his pretrial release. He was taken into custody and booked at the Sumter County Detention Center. He had been released on bond following his March 29 arrest after an alleged attack on his wife at their home at 411 Duarte Lane in Villa de la Vista South. She claimed he grabbed her by the throat and pushed her head against the refrigerator several times. The couple had been married for 40 years. An 85-year-old villager notorious for his numerous arrests was released from jail prior to Christmas. Morris Wolf of the village of Mallory Square was released Wednesday night from the Sumter County Detention Center after posting a $33,000 bond. He had been lodged at the jail since December 13th after turning himself in at the Sumter County Sheriff's Annex. He is due back in Sumter County Court on January 19 for arraignment. Wolf's most recent arrest resulted from his visit December 4 to the Palmer Legends Championship Golf Course. When Sumter County Sheriff's deputies arrived at the golf course that day, they found Wolf lying on the ground with injuries to his head and face. He was transported to the Ocala Regional Medical Center. Wolf, who has been banned from the golf course, had been actively avoiding a golf course staff when he apparently suffered the injuries. He was not taken into custody at that time. Because the arrest was considered a probational violation, he was initially booked without bond. Wolf spent a month and a half in jail this summer after skipping a court date. Wolf has a long history of arrests in the villages, including a charge that he misrepresented himself during a meeting at the Billhorn Law Firm in the villages. In 2017, a senior games medalist was arrested during a tennis match at the Tierra del Sol tennis courts. Yeah, he smacked somebody with his tennis racket. I think he said he was a lawyer, and that was misrepresentation. The poor guy's been arrested so many times. Here's the question I've got. He's been trespassed from all government facilities in Leesburg and in the villages I know, maybe even all of Sumter County, I don't know. He's been trespassed from every square. He's not allowed to go to a square. He's been trespassed from all the villages' swimming pools. Now, he's a resident. He pays the amenity fees to use all this stuff. Now, not the square. Square's not an amenity. Everybody can go to that. But he's been trespassed. And yet, John Rohan says he can't trespass strangers that don't live here, landscapers, all these other workers around here from going into our swimming pool areas that's for residents and their guests only. They can't do anything about that, he said, legally. But yet they trespass this guy. Doesn't make sense to me, John. A suspect in a check fraud case at Citizens First Bank has landed behind bars on new check fraud charges. Georgiana Lang Antique, 40, of Bellevue, was booked last week at the Marion County Jail on charges of fraud and grand theft. She had cashed checks drawn on the Hamlet Construction Company account, a company that was bought out in 2019 by Miller Pipeline and Fast Track Staffing. The checks were cashed at a convenience store in Ocala. At the time of arrest, Antic was free on bond, following her arrest earlier this year in Sumter County. Antic was released from state prison on April 1, 2019 after serving time on multiple charges of fraud, theft, and trafficking in stolen property. Those crimes include fraud charges stemming from a period in which Antic worked as a server at Gators Dockside in Spanish Springs Town Square. Customers started returning to the restaurant after noticing they had been billed twice for their meals. A manager refunded the customers and tracked the transactions to Antic. She was confronted by the manager and terminated. Antic would have one table that paid cash and another paid with a credit card. She would keep the cash and use the credit card to pay the other diner's check. She would also add a tip for herself on the additional bill paid with the credit card. Antic was arrested after stealing clothes for her children at Beals. B-E-A-L-L-S. Beals. Everybody here pronounces it Bells. I'm saying you're wrong. Just saying. Remember the crazy lady that wouldn't mow her grass? So they had no trespassing sign on her property. We're not allowed to have signs. She refused to do anything about it. Here's her latest update. A villager has pleaded for release from jail in a bizarre letter written to the judge in her case. Carolyn Kloninsky, 64, of the village of Belvedere, continues to be held at the Marion County Jail since her arrest in August when she led multiple law enforcement agencies on a high-speed chase. When Kloninsky finally came to a stop, she reached down to the passenger side floorboard, picked up a yellow crowbar, and threatened officers with it while she was still behind bars. Neighbors appeared before the Community Development District 5 Board of Supervisors and detailed her strange behavior. Her home at the Hialeah Villas was found to be in violation of deed compliance due to overgrown grass, and a no trespassing sign had been posted. In a rambling letter sent December 15th to Judge Peter Brigham, Kloninsky complains about her treatment by law enforcement at the time of her arrest, the public defender's office, and jailers. She clearly wants to go home to rescue dog Lucy. Life is serious, period. Stop wasting my time, period. I have house, comma, dog, comma, life, comma, I own and keep occupied, period. I enjoy my retirement in Sunshine State, Florida, same as everyone else. She finished with one final plea. Please respond. It's boring here. Her next court date is set for April 12th. Well, Carolyn, possibly if you hadn't led law enforcement on high-speed chases and then threatened them with a crowbar, you wouldn't have this problem. Just a thought. Discard the Christmas trees will be collected in the villages. Yes, we still have people here that have live Christmas trees, and they will be picking them up. Outdoor facilities will remain open on New Year's Day for villagers' enjoyment. Oh, look at this guy. Big day for Buffalo Bills fan to celebrate with his dog. Letters to the editor. We are back wintering in the villages, and while we, too, enjoy the fun, the ugly side is here also. No kidding. I've been reporting that for years, but most people don't want to hear it, so they don't subscribe. They just won't do it. They want to bury their head in the sand. But someday they'll know. We saw it on TV when we were up north, but now we are here again, seeing it with our own eyes. Are villagers embarrassed by national headlines? I'd love to hear your thoughts. As they say, change my mind. That's from Chris Alden, Snowbird. He didn't tell you what neighborhood he was in. Well, Chris, some things do embarrass me. There's things here that, the drinking and driving thing is a nationwide thing. It's nothing new here. But here, people seem to think you can drink and drive a golf cart's okay, like the golf cart's a toy. And they're learning the hard way that's not true at all. Some get ticketed, some die. We've had people actually die in golf cart accidents because of drinking too much. And politics. The politics here and these people here, some of them, not all, I won't say all, but a lot of them, it's nuts. It's stupid. Makes no sense to me at all. Do what you want to do. Nobody cares. You've heard me talk about some of the rhetoric that goes on around here. It's ridiculously nuts, and it's embarrassing. A village of Rio Ponderosa man has been arrested after an alleged bomb threat. Donald Stewart Brown, 73, who lives at 1404 Sanchez Court, was arrested shortly before 6 p.m. Wednesday at the T-Mobile store at La Plaza Grande. That's up by Spanish Springs. He had been banned from the store in the villages on December 2nd, as well as the Leesburg store, after causing disturbance, according to the arrest report from the Lady Lake Police Department. Brown returned to the Bashara Boulevard store in defiance of the ban and allegedly used his T-phone to call in and threaten that if the store employees did not help him, he would put a bomb in front of the store and blow his way in. Employees that were able to identify his 772 area code number. He was arrested on charges of reporting a false bomb threat and trespassing. He was booked at Lady Lake Jail and released after posting a $6,000 bond. Brilliant. Florida's friendliest hometown. A villager employed at Belk has been arrested in an alleged gift card theft scheme. Teresa Benefield Castillo, 55, who lives at 806 Jason Drive in the village of Silver Lake. That's the historic site. She was caught on surveillance video at the La Plaza Grande store between December 15th and 21, conducting product returns and converting the money into 13 gift cards with a total value of $1,633.13, according to an arrest report from the Lady Lake Police Department. She used the gift cards to purchase merchandise. She was taken into custody and booked at the Lady Lake Jail. She was released after posting a $2,000 bond. A Village of St. Charles woman was arrested after an alleged attack on her man friend. Gaynor Marlene O'Neill, 74, was arrested on Christmas Eve on a felony charge of battery on a person over the age of 65. A man said that O'Neill was drunk and became verbally hostile towards him, according to the arrest report from the Sumter County Sheriff's Office. He texted O'Neill's daughter a message that upset her and made her cry. The man said he had sent a text message about the situation, which made O'Neill increasingly hostile. She allegedly struck him during the altercation. She was taken into custody and booked at the Sumter County Detention Center. She was bonded out at 8:20 p.m. Christmas Day. Merry Christmas! I want somebody to tell me, how did this guy get this big box out of a store and not have to pay for it and never got caught? And how did he get that in his car? Just saying. Sumter County Sheriff's deputies are looking to the public for help in the search of a man who stole a lawnmower from Lowe's Home Improvement. The theft took place on September 9th at the Lowe's store on U.S. Highway 441 in Lady Lake. He proceeded to the lawnmower area and selected a mower, loading it into his cart. He passed all points of sales and left the store. The male left from the garden side exit and entered a silver Toyota Camry. And it has a phone number if you know this guy. I'm from saying, a Camry. Those aren't a big car. How'd you get that box in there? Out of the way. A villager's son was apprehended after taking a golf cart for a ride down US 301. 301 in a lot of places is a 4-lane highway. These people, it's just beyond ridiculous. Scott Anthony Kennedy, 38, who lives with his father in Villa Vera Cruz in the village of Santa Domingo, was arrested about 11 p.m. Tuesday at Wawa on 301 and County Road 466 after his red golf cart was spotted traveling on US 301, according to the arrest report from the Sumter County Sheriff's Office. A criminal history check revealed Kennedy had been convicted in 2002 in Nevada on charges of robbery with a deadly weapon and battery with a deadly weapon. He remains on parole through 2023. The golf cart did not have a registration. If you drive it on a highway where 45 or less or something like that, you have to have a registered license plates, insurance, the seat belts, just like a car. It's got to be, that's what it's got to be called street legal. Sumter County Commissioners has entered a plea in a case in which he is charged with perjury. Commissioner Orrin Miller, a resident of the village of Sanibel, entered a written plea of not guilty on Wednesday in Marion County through his attorney, Doc Blankert. Miller was arrested this past week along with fellow Commissioner Gary Search, also a resident of the villages. There's something in that case that just doesn't smell right to me. We'll keep an eye on it. A sex offender with ties to the villages has been jailed after he was caught with 2 iPhones in violation of his probation. Michael Lewis Young, 58, was arrested Tuesday at his home at 804 Crestview Circle in Wildwood during a visit by his probation officer. Young has previously lived in the Ventura Villas in the village of Hillsboro and in San Leandro Villas in the village of Santiago. During the probation officer's visit, 2 iPhones were found in a towel hamper in the home's master bedroom. Both iPhones were fully charged, and there were chargers plugged into the outlets in the home. One of the iPhones started ringing with an online banking alert. Whoops! His probation says because he's a sexual offender, he's not allowed to have access to the internet. That's where child porn is. Members of Red Sox Nation gather for Christmas party. Years ago, there was a lot of talk around here about the developers' offices was trying to get one of the professional baseball teams to come to the villages for spring break or spring practice. It never came through, but I always thought that was a great idea. We've got the softball fields, we've got the hotels. Yeah, I still think it's a great idea. A driver was arrested with a loaded gun and 8-year-old child in his pickup truck. Tyson Paul Schuster, 44, of Oklawaha, was driving a gray 96 Toyota pickup truck at about noon Tuesday at South Commercial Street and East Warm Springs Avenue in Coleman when he was pulled over for an expired license plate. A check also revealed Schuster was driving on a revoked license and has previous convictions for driving while license suspended in Marion County and Sumter counties. Well, of course. Why not? During a traffic stop, a loaded tourist revolver was found in the truck and was within easy reach of an 8-year-old child in the truck. Schuster said he had just came back from hunting, according to the arrest report from Sumter County Sheriff's Office. The deputy noted in the report that the gun could have been stored in the glove compartment or unloaded as a safety precaution. A glass pipe with burnt crystallized substance was also found in the truck. He was booked at Sumter County Detention Center and released after posting a $5,000 bond. The villagers will enjoy the annual tradition of free golf on Christmas Day. Yes, in case you guys don't know, village residents get free golf on Christmas Day at all the country clubs. But you got to either get there early or sign up early because there's a lot of people that show up. A hairstylist arrested earlier this year at a salon academy in the Villages has been sentenced in the romantic criminal mischief case. Alexis Renee Saunders, 28 of Ocala, pleaded no contest Tuesday in Sumter County Court to charge of theft and criminal mischief. She had been placed on probation for 18 months. The Fort Worth, Texas native was arrested April 20th at the Tannage Salon Institute at Buffalo Ridge Plaza in the Villages. Her former boyfriend contacted Sumter County Sheriff's deputies to report that he had a photo of the license plate from his vehicle in Saunders' lap, according to the arrest report. He left his vehicle at his residence over the weekend while he went to the beach with his friends. He said he believed Saunders had become enraged when he posted a social media photo of himself with his friends at the beach. Did that photo include a girl? Listen up, young man. A woman's scorn. Ask any old person about a woman's scorn. You might learn something. Here's how you protect your home in the Villages, because we have the stand-alone law. An Oxford man was beaten up and held at gunpoint after an alleged burglary. Michael Lee Arnott, 50, is facing a charge of burglary after his arrest on Christmas Day by Sumter County Sheriff's deputies. He was found on the floor of the kitchen in the home he allegedly burglarized. The homeowner was pointing a revolver at Arnott when deputies arrived on the scene. Arnott had suffered a laceration on his head, and there was a pool of blood on the floor. Way to go, homeowner. Cocked him, probably with the gun. Arnott claimed he had been at the residence earlier in the day and forgot his lighter on the kitchen table. He knocked on an unlocked door and he let himself in, according to the arrest report. Arnott was taken to the Ocala Health ER at Trailwinds Village for medical treatment. Upon his release, he was booked at the Sumter County Detention Center, where bond was set at $15,000. Fruitland Park police nabbed a Miami man with 5 stolen catalytic converters under a tarp in the bed of a pickup truck. Officers found 22-year-old Eliezer Rodriguez late on the night of December 22nd at Serenity Services on U.S. Highway 27 and 441 after the business owner was monitoring video surveillance and spotted a pickup with its headlights off into the parking lot. According to an arrest report from the Fruitland Park Police Department, an officer found Rodriguez wearing a black hoodie, black pants, walking on the north side of the business in an area not normally designated for foot traffic. 2 catalytic converters, freshly cut off vehicles, were found under the tarp in the bed of the truck. There were also battery-operated saw, a manual pipe cutter, bolt cutters in the bed of the pickup truck. Rodriguez claimed he only had the truck for a day as he was driving it to Miami because his friend was going back to Cuba and the truck was having mechanical issues. A check revealed Rodriguez has a suspended license. Of course, he was also in possession of methamphetamine and drug paraphernalia. During an inventory of the truck, 3 more catalytic converters were found under the tarp in the pickup's bed. Rodriguez was arrested on multiple charges, including prowling, possession of burglary tools. He was booked at the Lake County Jail and released after posting a $100,000 bond. $100,000. Rodriguez must be making a little bit of money. And this will be it. Last story. An allegedly impaired mother with a baby on board was arrested after allegedly crashing a Cadillac on Christmas Eve. Lauren Ray Howerton Wells, 35, of Webster, was driving a 2018 catalytic XT5 utility vehicle at 5:21 p.m. on Christmas Eve on County Road 747 in unincorporated Sumter County when she failed to yield to a 2008 Toyota Tundra pickup truck, resulting in a collision. A 3-month-old girl was riding in the vehicle. A deputy investigating the crash suspected Howerton Wells was under the influence of of drugs. She became confused and began to cry during a field sobriety exercise. A burnt marijuana joint was found in the Cadillac center console. She was in possession of several bottles of her prescribed medical marijuana wax and oils, according to the arrest report. She also had multiple bottles of Xanax, Adderall, and other prescribed drugs in the vehicle, as well as a glass pipe. She refused to provide urine samples. Arthur Wells was arrested on charges of driving under the influence with property damage, child abuse, and possession of drug equipment. She was booked at the Sumter County Detention Center and released after posting, wait for it, child abuse, drug charges, and property damage. And she posted a $400 bond. I mean, she spent $40, got out of jail. All right, that being said, this is Wednesday. This ain't going to come out to Friday. I just want to say one more time, thanks everybody for coming to the W&L show. Thanks everybody for the donations that you had made. And thanks for the support of my Patreon and my YouTube members, because all that went also toward it. At the end of the video, there's going to be the bad parking. You watch it and see if you can pick out the bad parking and what's bad about it. So I'll see all of you on the other side.